Oh, here it is, right here. This guy's silly, man.
The bathrooms are up here. Yeah, we got a lot of people watching right now.
All right, man.
Yeah, both of them.
Yeah. Good morning. Good morning. How is everybody doing this morning? Welcome to another edition of South Philadelphia Community Radio, WOOM 92.9, giving you another edition of 623 Live Matter Radio. Hey, we want to let you guys know, hey, we appreciate you guys tuning in every week. We was a little late today because traffic down here is kind of bad. All these roads closing and whatnot. But hey, it's good to see you guys, the ones that's watching us on Facebook Live. Thank you. Everyone that sent the message out, we appreciate it. We're going to get right into it. Over the bombshell dropped on us yesterday, and I know you guys heard about it. Sean O'Brien and Fred Zuckerman running on the 2021 Teamsters United ticket. I know there's a lot of people confused, upset, don't know what to do. I'm one of them. I could stomach it better if it was the other way around, but hey, that's not our concern. Our concern is 623. We got a lot of issues here. We got to work on that. You take care of home, and home will take care of you. One of the messages that I got after the announcement of O'Brien and Zuckerman was that don't lose focus of the local. Stay strong. We got to get a good contract, and we got to get our local officials out of here. That was the message that was sent to me, and that's what we're going to do. Now, I hope you guys called in for the strike authorization. I hope you guys did that, because on Sunday is the deadline. So if you haven't gotten it, make sure you call 215-289-0580 and make sure that you get your ballot to vote for a strike authorization vote. I know a lot of people I heard from Oregon Avenue didn't get theirs. They don't want to deal with the e-board, but you can't let that stop you from calling and getting that strike authorization in there, because we got to give it a strong strike authorization count. We got to. So you see, I got my brothers here, Joe Esposito from Oregon Avenue, my brother here, Clarence Bagby, PHL, and we all here. So what happened with you guys in the last week?
Most people, most people, the biggest concern is that I'm getting is the strike. Biggest question I get is, should we go on strike? Are we going to go on strike? Nobody wants a strike, but sometimes you got to do what you don't want to do for the best interest of yourself. And the Sean O'Brien thing, it threw me for a loop. It really did. But at the end of the day, we got to focus on Local 623.
Right.
and then everything else will fall into play. What you think, Joe?
I repeat what I said online. Until I see their supplements, that'll be the telltale sign. Post what their contract history is. Make sure it's online. Make sure it's visible for people to see their record. Because if they want to lead the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, we got to see what their record is.
Right.
You know, just like we see what Unity's record is. Your record as a shop steward. Hooker's record as a shop steward. My record as a member. When I file grievances, what are my filing grievances about? Everybody's record is in paper. It's very important to document it so people can trust what you're going to do.
Right.
They see your attitude, they see your presence, and that's what you need.
Right.
You know, to be successful, to have the trust of the membership, that's what you need to see. You need to see the record of what people are fighting about, take those issues into UPS, and make it happen.
Right, I agree. Now, I put a post up yesterday about some of the things we was going to talk about today. One of those things were in the contract. It's very important that when we get this new one, that we all make sure that we read it, reread it, read it again, get with your other members, make sure you read it again, because in this contract, not too many people know that in our national language, I believe it's on page 93, Article 34, it talks about how the IBT can take your raise. Now, the raise is already split. That's one concession, right? They took your health care. That's another concession. Now they can take your raise. Now they can't do it now because the agreement is almost up. But they could have, without us voting on it or anything, probably without us even knowing it, take your raise and put that contribution into a pension or whatever the case they may be. Now, some of you guys may not think that's a problem. You know, some of the guys that's getting ready to retire because, you know, you're getting the pension contribution. But whenever something like that happens, the membership needs to know. Just don't take a raise and do what you want to do with it, especially when it's already split. It's already split, and then you're going to take it. So, like I said, if you got your contract book with you, turn to page 93, I believe. I'm going to look at it real quick.
Okay, while you're looking that up, here's my take on the contract and the concessions. Here, you really need to read the contract and you really need to vote, because I know the last one was shoved down our throats, but the reason why you vote is because any concession will get built upon. Meaning, whatever they take from us now, they're going to try to take more on top of that in the next contract. In 2008, 2013 is evidence. So the more that we win, the more that we can build. So it's either they build on concessions or we build on improvements. And if you think about it, since 2008, the last two contracts that was concession filled, UPS did not lose $1. They improved and broke records every year. If you go and look at our local unions, executive board, you look at their history, every year they make more and more money.
Right.
So the only ones who's losing
is the member.
Is the members.
Right, the members.
So you really need to vote, and you really, really need to think about that. Everybody's winning except us, and we're the ones doing all the work.
Right.
So that got to change.
Right. Right.
Let's see everybody out there shout out right now and see how they feel about seniority and how part-timers and full-timers are at odds with each other over job assignments inside the building. That's what I want to see. I want to see someone on Facebook Live come out here, post it out there, see what your feelings are on that. Because me and Clarence are talking about it. They have part-timers that come in earlier than full-timers down at PHL. They have the same thing happen down at Oregon Avenue. You know, what is your take on that? Are you being displaced from your work? You know, the job assignment? Is full-time supposed to get the pre-charge first? What's the deal? Unity will say they can work whoever they want. I thought it was supposed to go to senior guy.
The biggest problem with that, if you read the contract that we have is so vague.
Right.
It's vague to the point where as though you can read it and then because it happened to me on a couple different occasions where you read it and then you're told, no, that's not for you. That was negotiated for Oregon Avenue. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say Oregon Avenue, doesn't say PHL. So how can any reasonable person read it and determine who it affects.
Right.
By that being that vague, they can take anything in that contract and give it to whoever they want, or manipulate it any way they want to do that. So with this new negotiations, everything needs to be black and white, no gray, black and white. Tell us who it's for.
Right.
Oregon Avenue, PHL, and what it should be is anything negotiated for Oregon Avenue should be for PHL.
Right.
It's one
should
union.
be right. Should be the same.
2 buildings, 1 union,
Right.
1 local.
Right.
We all should get the same thing across the board.
Johnny Ola checked in over here. He said it should all be one list, and I agree. When you work the work, it's all one list.
Right.
The lower senior guys go off first, and that's kind of reflected in the language when it talks about a reduction of workforce and such. That the lower guys go first,
Right.
So the higher guys have to stay, and they have to justify the time. I was talking about Clarence with that. If the part-timers don't have preference and they can still get 3.5 hours a day, then obviously they're getting preference over full-timers if they come in earlier. That's the way to put it. They only do 3.5 hours. Don't mind you, there's a lot of part-timers in here getting 40 plus and ain't considered full-time. And now I got a big issue with that because getting paid the right rate is a big issue. I was talking to people at lunchtime out in the parking lot today about it and pointing that out to them, that the full-timers make a lot more, and when you put in a full-time day, you don't get a full-time wage. Because they were asking about their time and a half after 5 and how it works. I said, well, it's really interesting because now they have a full-time shift down at Oregon Avenue. That's the twilight and the midnight hub. And guys work that. So now, is that their shift? Their assigned shift, because there's no split shifts in our local. So when you punch in and you punch out, after 5, you should be getting time and a half.
All right, but that's another thing about the contract. There's a loophole in there, and it's only for Oregon. Well, I was told it's only for Oregon Avenue. If you work a double shift, you don't get overtime till after 8.
The question is, what's a double shift?
Right. And the thing is, I agree with Johnny Ola too. It should be one list. Seniority. The biggest thing about a union is your seniority.
Right.
When you make multiple lists, your seniority goes down the drain. So is seniority important or is it not?
Look at what they did to the people in the SLS.
That's a joke.
Now they got 3 seniority lists up there in one area. One area has 3 seniority lists. Now, how's that happening?
Now, here's my question with that. So if it's 3, it's 3 lists all doing the same job.
Same
right?
job.
So if I send you from this side to that side, what list you on now?
Right.
Still same building, same work.
Same work.
One list.
One list.
That's it. One list.
Well, who gets laid off first from the center? That's really what the
That's
issue
the
becomes.
thing.
Well, who gets laid off first from the center? Obviously, I believe it's whoever is the lowest in seniority gets laid off first, because that's kind of the thing. But it also says the center in there, so now you got to dictate. Like you said, now we got a really blurry issue because the language has been blurred.
Right.
Inside down at Oregon Avenue, you've had full-time and part-timers all together for the longest time. And they all kind of are on one list down at the building, but everybody understands the part-timers are below the full-timers. But there's other guys, they start early. They start before all us full-timers.
Right.
And they stay late, and some guys even stay later than us. So, there's a big issue with that, because now here comes the end of the day. You got guys doing multiple jobs during the day. Their job assignment's done, my job assignment's done. There's no time requirement, but I don't get offered that work, yet I'm senior to him.
Right.
I'm missing that overtime money. You know what I mean? I come to work to make money. That's what I come to work for. I don't know about you guys. I'm sure you guys all come to work to make money.
Yeah,
Everybody out there,
that's right.
You all come to make money when you go to work, right?
Yeah.
What? No, please.
Now, getting back to what I was talking about earlier about this whole, they can take your raise. It's for everybody that has a contract. Now, this is not a supplement. This is not national. So wherever you are, if you work for UPS, check this out. It's on page 93. Article 34, Section 4 is called Reallocations of Contributions and Wages. They can take your raise and do whatever they feel like doing it. Now, they didn't say nothing about this in the negotiations. Now, I remember we talked about this in 2016, but no one really paid us any attention. Now it seems like, and I appreciate everybody listening now, but, this is a situation where if the IBT feel like you see what they did with our vote, they just threw that away. So if they doing stuff like this, man, we need to reevaluate who we put in office and who they are for. Are they for us or for the company or for themselves? because they're definitely not for us. So we need to make the right decisions going forward. Another thing we was talking about was strike benefits and how much you're going to get paid, and the health care. You will have health care. A lot of people don't know how much you're going to get paid. Well, if you go on the Teamsters website, it'll tell you it's 5 times your weekly dues rate. So whatever your weekly dues rate is, times that by 5, and that's what you would get per week. Now, the interesting thing about that for our local here at 623, if you go to the Teamsters website and you look where that information is at, it'll pull up where it was voted on to get increased by 25%. Now, our e-board didn't vote on that. I know you're probably saying, why wouldn't our e-board vote to have an increase in strike fund benefits? Well, it's very, very simple. They decided to protest in silence. So it wasn't just about HOFA. They missed a chance to vote on a lot of issues that affect us and our families. But you know who did vote? Myself, Bagby here, and Jumbo. We got a chance to vote to make sure if we did go on strike, that you would get more money in your strike pay. So we need to make sure that we do what's right moving forward, as far as our leaders that we elect. It's painfully obvious who these guys are for. They're not for us. Regardless what you may think, they're not for us. Our contract is up in about what? It's June 1st on Friday.
2 months.
2 months, and these guys haven't told us anything. We get our information from everybody else but our local leaders, and that's a problem, especially when 2 of them are on the National Negotiating Committee. And they said, I didn't hear this, I didn't make it up, they're in the main room. So they know what's going on. They're there. They know what's going on, but they refuse to tell us. So you guys need to wake up. We need to wake up as a local. We can't depend on the people in the office. We got to depend on each other. It's a problem that we have. It's a problem that we have, and we need to fix it. And I know my brothers here, Bagby and Esposito, they feel the same way. There's a lot of problems in our local. This contract coming up, we still have bad memories of 2013, and we don't know what's going on. We don't know what's going to happen. We're still getting concessions. A lot of people are going to say it's political that. But name me one concession that's political. Just name me one. Just name me one concession that is political. Concessions are not political. Whether you vote for Espo, myself, or Bagby, whoever you vote for, I'm telling you, concessions hurt everybody. And we need to make the right decision going forward. That's why this strike authorization vote is very, very important. Call that number, 215-289-0580, and get your ballot. Sunday is the deadline, so we can't play around. We got to show the company that we mean business. You know what I mean? So, I know you guys, feel the same way. Especially because, we talk about it a lot. We talk about why it's important for all of us to get involved.
I want to touch on a couple of things you just said. Now, that article that you read,
right,
a lot of us don't know about.
Right.
And it kind of goes into what this brownout thing. You're negotiating a contract for us that we have to live by. The members have to live by.
Right.
But you're telling us we can't know what's being negotiated. So how do we know that something else like that is not going to be thrown in there?
Right.
So they can throw anything in there they want. Then they'll say, oh, well, we're going to have a contract meeting and discuss the contract. No, what you're going to have is a contract meeting so you can tell us what you want us to know,
right,
so we can pass the contract on your behalf.
Right.
And the thing about concessions concessions don't hurt everyone, hurt all the members.
Yeah.
Because UPS ain't losing no money.
Yeah.
Our local officials ain't losing no money. Their raises ain't split. UPS billions ain't split.
Right.
Our pockets are being split.
Right.
We're being hurt. We lost health care. And that's the part about voting that's important. When they get one concession, they build on it. It started with the split raises, the health care. Now they want the 5 days and any 7. They want Black Friday back. So if we vote and we improve, then we can start building on them improvements.
Right.
We got to turn this thing around. We have to turn it around. And the protesting and silence thing that part bothers me because if I'm looking at you as my leader, I don't want you sitting behind me. You should be in front.
Be in
of
the front.
So if you're the leader, you need to be
in the
the
front.
first one. If this man came to our building, Hoffa, told us we wasn't going to pay 90 this and all this, and hyped us all up, then the next month, we out the healthcare business. So why wouldn't you, as an e-board, say you lied to my members?
Right.
I'm gonna come to Las Vegas, tell you that you lied to my members, and what you did was wrong. You wronged my members. But instead of that, you stayed back and you let the other group go instead of you. So is it either it's protesting the silence or I'm scared to speak up to these guys. I'm scared to protect my members. A leader can't be scared to protect.
No.
Just to check in, someone else over there on Facebook Live checked in and talked about 60, 70-year-old ladies unloading, loading trucks down at PHL. UPS in Article 37 has to give them due consideration to the age and physical condition of the employee. So if there's something that's a little better job that no one of seniority has, they're to give preference to that particular employee for working.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Right.
Now, see, everything we're talking about, it keeps tying into each other because that's what the contract says. But like we talked about earlier, the contract is so vague
Yeah.
that they can take what that says and manipulate it any way they can. They should take in consideration age and physical ability. That's what the contract says. But what UPS says when you're in the building, if you can't do the job, you can't work it.
Right.
So they're not listening to the contract. They manipulate it the way they want to manipulate
Yeah,
it.
they do what they want to, and they do it because they're not being nothing is happening to them that make them stop. They just do what they want to do. You know what I mean? The members, they're too afraid to stand up because they feel they have no backing. So one of the things that we had to do, and another thing that we was talking about, was how can we bridge the gap between the younger member and the veteran member? Because all of us are kind of right in the middle. We're not too well. You're an old man over there, I suppose. Old man, you're an old man over there. So I say me and Bagley, we in the middle. We're not too far from the millennial, and we're not too far away from the veteran, even though we are veterans with our experience being there. But the one thing I think we have to do is reach back. The people that built the company, built the team, they need to reach back more to the younger member and show them how it used to be. Because people like Mr. Greco, Robert Greco, Jody Prince, these guys, especially Jody Prince, when we first became full-time, he was like a sage to us, you know what I mean? He showed us the rope. He was a little rough and rugged, but we got the point. We was able to keep the job and do the job, you know what I mean? A lot of people showed us the way, and that's what we got to do with these younger members, because a lot of them don't know. They don't know the struggles that we had. Like 97, they don't know anything about 97. And I would encourage everybody to watch that video, that strike video of 97. There was a lady on there, man, I tell you, she was at the podium. Ron Carey was beside her, and she said that she was willing to do any and whatever it takes for her 15-month-old baby. She was willing to do sacrifice, how long, whatever. And that's what the mentality that we have to have as members. We have to be willing to do whatever it takes, how long it takes, to make sure that we get a good deal. Because UPS, man, they're not telling the public or the shareholders, there's a strong possibility that these guys might go on strike. And they lost about $800 million in 16 days in 97. That's a lot of money to lose in 2 weeks. You know what I mean? So I don't know if they're trying to hide that, but the people need to know that it's very possible that if they don't change the way they're negotiating with us, that we could walk out on August 1st, at 12:01 a.m. I'm actually looking forward to it. There's something about these guys, man, that they just really believe that they can do whatever they want. They dominate us daily. You know, we don't have no strong support here at the 623 local level for as leaders. The company does what they want to do to them. And so, you know, it's a problem. Like today, Clarence filed, how many grievances you filed yesterday?
10.
10. You filed 10 grievances for supervisors working. Now, last week I filed about 6. Now, I came in, now the same manager that we stopped the other day,
Yes.
I come in, he working again today. But we got to file a grievance. And I get that. But there needs to be a stronger penalty than just filing a grievance. I hope in this next contract that the penalty is severe enough that these guys know, hey man, I can't keep taking these money from my employees, because that's what they're doing. They're robbing us, and they're getting away with it. They're getting away with it. So we got to do something about that. I know Espo, you file like a gazillion grievances, man, and you have a problem with your grievances. I know you do. You talk about it all the time. You know what I mean?
I think that, from my perspective, is that I get treated differently through the grievance process. Other people settle, and they'll settle for less. I won't want them to. I got cheated. I got something taken away from me, and I just want it back. Just like when UPS wants what they want back.
All right.
When they asked for the wages that they supposedly overpaid everybody, they wanted that money back, and everybody had to pay thousands of dollars back. You know, no one overlooked that. They wanted the money back. When UPS wants something, they go out and
they get it. They get it.
And they're
Yeah.
determined to go get it.
Yeah, yeah.
They don't look back.
No, not at
I
all.
don't know how many times that I know they were looking at me, staring over my shoulder, you know, seeing what I'm doing, and then say, okay, well, he's working. He's all right.
Right.
You know, but they keep coming as soon as I file. They keep doing the same thing over and over again.
That's what they do, man.
Catch them out of the corner of my eye.
Yeah.
People go and tell me about it, and I go, it's just how it is. Come look at me, I'll go do my job.
Right.
That's all you got to do. Buckle down, put your face down, get into work, let them go look at you all over. But when you see them doing something, say, yo, you did something to me.
Right.
Maybe you might cut them a break every now and then, but 50 times in a row that they want versus the one time you file is a problem.
It is.
You wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
When, like Expo said, when you owe them money, they overpay you. That next week, they taking what you owe. They no ifs, ands, or buts about it, no questions. You gonna pay them their money back. Your check is short. Go to the supervisor. Yo, my check is short. Oh well, we got to talk to this person. This person got to talk to that person, and it's a whole big mess trying to get your money.
Right.
And that's the thing. The contract language states that if any pay shortage, $20 for part-timers, $40 for full-timers, has to be made available, meaning check in hand within 48 hours. Well, your second payday, second report day.
Right.
If not, then you have to pay half of your daily guarantee as a penalty. Well, a lot of them penalties are not paid because they slip through the loopholes, they slip through the cracks. And the problem is, like I said, when they owe you money, they come to get it. No, they don't come and take it and not even tell you that they took it.
Right.
Oh, well, and you inquire about why money was taken out. Oh, you owe this for this, not even knowing what it was,
Right.
but you owe it.
Right.
But when they owe you money, it's hard getting through these guys, and that's a problem too.
Yeah. I agree. I see Dorian say with Hoffa and power, UPS will feel confident that nothing will happen. And that's true. As long as this guy's in office, man, you know, we in trouble. We in trouble. As long as our e-board is in office, we're in more trouble because we have to deal with this stuff locally every single day. Every single day, they harass us. They take our work. They do whatever they feel like doing because they know there is no consequence to what they are doing. Until the consequence is appropriated right, man, they don't care. They don't care. They don't care.
And you know what? The problem is, the punishment does not fit the crime.
Mm-mm.
So if you can keep doing the same crime and keep getting slapped on the wrist, you're going to keep doing it. Until the punishment starts to fit the crime,
Right.
then it'll change. Like I had a grievance hearing with a supervisor working. And, oh, well, give me a break. I'm not going to give you a break because you're not changing your behavior. If, like Expo was saying, they keep doing the same thing. If you keep doing the same thing, there should be no half of this or half of that. They need to pay exactly. If they worked an hour, they need to be paid an hour at the contractual rate, which is double time. None of that 15 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. If they keep doing the same thing, they need to be held accountable contractually, which is double time for the hours that's worked.
But I'm gonna ask you a question, man. Why do you think that our e-board won't actually, stand up for us in the grievance process? Why do you think it's kind of like, well, you got to take this, if not, you may not get anything, or cut them a break? Because I remember a couple of times Joni had told us, hey, look, man, cut them a break this time, and we did, off of strength with her. But why do you think it's so easy for our e-board to cut so many breaks when the member is the one done wrong?
I'm just going to add, before expert answers that, I want to comment on Romeo. I agree. Corruption.
Well, I think there's other things that the e-board feel are more important for political purposes that they get out of UPS. That's one thing. Two, when they ask you to cut them a break, it's every time you're cutting them a break, which, listen, I cut you one, I cut you two, I cut you three. How many more you want to cut? How many are you going to cut me?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
You ain't come back and say, this time I'm going to pay you in full. We ain't going to argue about it. I'm going to make sure I do good by you right now. You did me good in the past, I'll do you good now.
Right.
A lot of shop stewards turn into a bad habit of bartering other people's grievances, saying, "Oh, you get me here, you get me there," to avoid the whole process altogether, because the process takes time. It takes time, takes money from the locals' point, takes time and money from UPS's point. Inside the little thing that they have, UPS is very busy, so try to be really short and sweet with your response. Is that what you want to hear? You want to hear someone fighting for you?
Yeah.
Say, listen, this is my point. This is what's got to happen. You can talk about it. I'd rather just write it down, put a position down, and say, that's it. Here's the facts.
All right. Well, again, this is South Philadelphia Community Radio, WOOM 92.9. You're listening to 623 Lives Matter Radio. So again, we went over a few things. We're going to go over again. This whole thing about reading the contract is very, very important. A lot of people don't read, and they depend on others to read for them. And I know firsthand to don't always listen to somebody else. Always find out for yourself. And that's why that article that we went over earlier about how they snuck that in there is very important. Like Clarence said earlier, hey man, you guys have to find out for yourself. Dig into it. I know what we talked about when the contract come out, man, we just going to sit down and study it so we can be better prepared for what's going to happen. The way it sounded, there's nothing going to be for us. It's all going to be for the company. If you listen to Jumbo said it's already a done deal. It's already a done deal. I'm hoping it's not, man. I'm hoping that, that when we vote, it'll actually matter this time. Because I think that's another problem, man, with the Teamsters, man. They tell you to vote. You vote, and it don't mean anything. And that's why people don't want to vote. I talked to 2 senior people a little while ago about voting. They said, man, for what? For who? All they're going to do is shove it on us again. That's all they're going to do. And, with that attitude, you can't blame them.
I think that's a big thing that Mike Zanoff brought up in the meeting that we all see, experience firsthand, that the membership feels as though no matter what UPS and the Teamsters agree, that our vote doesn't matter, that they will just implement that contract, and that's a bad thing. Because that gives a level of disrespect to the member, who is a dues-paying member, who puts money in the bank for business agents to process and protect your collective bargaining rights.
Right.
That's the whole purpose of it altogether. So, when we all get the chance to speak, just like I told the guys earlier today, it's like if you don't tell the guys to speak now, it's 5 more years before you can speak again. This vote is more important than you realize.
Yeah.
This is the time you need to come up and step up. Everybody's got to get the same thing. We got to be, during the lunch hour, finding people that are loose and straggling around and get those people and say, look, this is the time to vote. This is where we need to be at putting forth that message with everybody, and it takes everybody
Yeah.
to get that message across.
Yeah.
It can't just be Hooker, me, Clarence, Jumbo, and other guys here on the 623 Lives Matters page. It's got to be every Teamster
Everybody.
out there
Yeah.
with UPS and all the other companies that the Teamsters represent. Hey, look, it's contract time. This is the time we get to speak up. This is the time we vote. Most of the time, we just got to do what the work is available to us. Some guys in here really want job preference when it comes to full-time jobs. There has to be inside cover jobs if you're going to get more full-time jobs, because people take off, people don't come to work, something happens,
Yeah.
stuff happens. There's got to be cover jobs. The drivers have them. The feeder guys got them. Anybody got them inside?
No.
Anybody ever see that?
No, I never seen
You
it.
could have, we got 40 guys down at Oregon Avenue preload. Never had a cover position added to that mix.
Right.
So let's say there's 7 covering jobs, because that's the number of vacations that you have. There's more than 7 part-timers, usually double every day. They don't get to be considered full-time. It's about how do we get part-timers to realize that they can become full-time, be part of the center. Like if you drive 30 days in the center in a package car, you're going to get full-time. Not inside. Doesn't happen.
Right.
There's a big difference between inside and outside. The inside worker has a bigger struggle because they can be undercut by other people just looking to make a couple bucks. And most of those people might not even be there in a year. That's the sad part.
Right.
So our seniority is the most important thing that we have.
It
the
really
more
is.
important thing that we protect.
It really is.
I mean, when I pay dues, I'm paying dues to have the protections that I see inside there.
Right.
Soups don't work on my sort before they buy my lunch. Strongest piece of language in the country, by the way. Strongest. I read them, run a lot of contracts. The last time they put them out, and you could physically read them, I read it. I don't see any provision anywhere in the country that says before supervisors get utilized during your lunch period, preloaders get their lunch bought. That's Oregon Avenue preload. Nowhere else
Right.
do I see that. It's implied if you read Article 3, Section 7,
Right.
but I don't see a lot of people getting paid the right amount either.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right, I want to touch on a little something that here, the $15 an hour thing, because Romeo put up about new hires dropping like flies. This is what you really need to think about with the 15-hour thing. If it's all good that you want to bring in people at $15 an hour, but that's not the benefit the members. The $15 an hour to start is going to benefit the company because they can't keep new hires, because you can go find another job and get paid way more than what you get paid in doing a lot of harder work. So if they do get the $15 an hour start, what they're going to come back to us with is, well, look what we want. We got the $15 an hour. But what about the people who've been here 15 years? Are you going to take care of them too? They're so worried about people who don't even work here yet that they forget about the people who already put their blood, sweat, and tears in.
Right.
Are the ones who been here 5 years who are not making 15, are they going to get bumped up to 15 plus? Is that going to happen? It's not going to. That's $15 an hour is not for us. It's for the company. It's just like with that $100 bonus. $100 bonus is to give it to people who just started so they can stay. They don't care about the ones who are already here because they already got vested years in. So they figured they got vested years in, they're going to be here. So we don't care about them. We're going to cater to the people who just coming in so we can keep them. So that's what that $15 an hour for. It's not for us. So to me, that's a concession because they're going to use that and take away something else. So we really need to be mindful of that.
How would you suggest increasing the starting rate of part-timers, right, so the senior part-timers don't get offended?
Now, this may be a jump, but this is what they should do. The starting rate right now is what?
35.
10.35.
Right.
So if you're going to increase the starting rate to $15, so the difference between 10.35 and 15, every part-timer should be bumped up to whatever that is. To give them all the same raise. And I know that they're going to talk money.
Right.
So if you're going to increase the new hires $4,
Yeah, the
plus,
difference, right. The difference got to be applied.
The difference
Right.
should be applied to every other part-timer to give them the same benefit that the new hires get. Because it's like I said, it's one union. It's one union.
Yeah.
We need to, instead of us trying to bite each other's back out. We all need to fight for the
Each other.
same improvement.
Yeah, yeah.
So if you want to raise the starting wage to $15, then you get that same bump to every part-timer. Whatever it is, the same part-timers get the same bump.
Right.
I think that the issue here becomes for me, for part-timers that are senior and part-timers that are junior, every year they should change the starting rate and creep it up incrementally. You know, like now it's at 10.35, next year it's 11.35, 12.35, 14.35, whatever the number is by the end of the contract we want it to be. I think 18.75 is a fair number because that's the number that really should be. In 1982, they split the rates. We're talking.
You said 92?
1982.
82.
That's when they split.
Woo.
That's when the part-timers stopped being top rated.
Mm.
The difference between the starting guy and one of those guys right now, I believe is Ronnie Arthur. I believe it's like he makes $1.40 something less than I do. So I want to let's say it's around $34 an hour, just to rough him out.
Mm.
So the difference now, as you can see, is $23.
Yeah.
Start just preload wise rate.
Right.
$23 an hour is worth of time. So there has to be a way for it to come up, and it has to be significant because everybody needs to benefit. But if you give this group a large increase all at once, you're gonna have a lot.
There's gonna be a lot of problems.
Very upset
Yes.
senior part timers that aren't getting nothing,
Yep.
and realize they're not getting nothing. They don't have job preference as it is. They got to go around and get job preference, but not really have job preference. Like
Right.
they can bid every year and switch around, because like we do at Oregon Ave, we bid different jobs every year. You guys bid different every year?
No.
Here's the thing, and that goes back to the vagueness of the contract. The contract states that preload employees, full-time preload employees, are allowed to bid every year on a certain job. Now, when I brought that up, I put a grievance in for that. And I brought it up. I was told, no, that was Oregon Avenue language that was negotiated for Oregon Avenue. But nowhere in the contract does it say
that.
PHL or Oregon Avenue. So any reasonable person who reads that will say, oh my goodness, I can bid. But then you go to the e-board, no, that's not for you.
Not for you.
Well, how am I supposed to know that? I mean, the same ones
It's unclear.
It's very unclear.
Yeah.
And is it fair that you negotiate something for one building and not the other? And here's the thing. When that language was put in the contract, there was no PHL preload. That language is old. So language that old is still in our contract. Who's negotiating these contracts?
Nobody.
And are the contracts being negotiated or just rolled over?
Just rolled over.
I mean, because that's what it sounds like.
Look,
We're just rolling it over.
But look what has happened and since they've been in, since the whole core of their team been in office. The contract really hasn't, the supplement hasn't changed at all. It really hasn't changed. Minor, the whole 5.
Minor language changes.
Right, it's nothing major.
There's one thing that's major.
What's that?
They stopped listing the pension contribution amounts inside a contract. So
Right.
now you can't really tell what UPS is contributing on your behalf. You're really not having that mental awareness of what it's supposed to be. And that's another reason why I filed that grievance about that. That UPS has to list that, and so does the union.
Right.
They both have an obligation to tell you what your pay rates are, your health and welfare contribution, your pension contribution, and to say that there's not enough room on the pay stub, put an extra piece of paper in there.
Yeah,
Come on.
Yeah, man.
It's just out of hand.
And cut out some of the other junk.
Right.
Now,
Right.
this one, what I'm about to say now is not a fact. It's just my opinion. But I want to hear what you guys think about this. In 2007 or 6, whatever, 2007, I think, UPS started all the new part-time supervisors were not given pensions. They are enrolling them in 401k.
Matching.
Yeah. So instead of them having a pension, they're giving 401k. Now, I think in the next couple years, all UPS part-time and supervisors, pensions will stop, and they'll be just have a 401k. They'll still have their pension, but whatever they pay them will still have that. But they'll only be getting 401k after that. And my question is, if you notice, I don't know if you notice or not, but when new hires are hired now, they send them out this letter saying that
Right,
they're
for the
enrolling
in
you
the 401k.
401k.
Right.
So here's my question to
Yeah.
you guys. I want y'all to really think about
Part-timers
this.
too?
Part-time, yes.
Yeah.
When did this? What was this letter?
Yeah, they started
Just
this.
started that.
So I want y'all to really
I know they
think
did it for
about
full
this.
timers.
Yeah.
There's a letter that came out, and they said that the all new full timers coming in automatically get rolled in at 3%,
Yeah.
taken right out of their paycheck
Right.
automatically,
But-
and you have to go in and readjust it.
Right.
Yeah, now you can opt out of it, but here's the thing. In 1997, the biggest thing that the UPS wanted was control of the pension. So is them enrolling us and requiring us to be enrolled into a 401k, or are they looking to the bigger picture and eventually taking our pensions away? Like I said this is only my opinion, but if you look at UPS, when they start doing things to their supervisors, eventually they're gonna try to
Do it
trickle
to
that on
us.
us.
Yeah.
So if we don't have nobody in office who's strong enough to fight this, then what's next? That's a scary thing to me.
Romeo talks about the pay card. I know when the pay card first came in here, and I really didn't like that. I'd rather have a paper check.
Right.
Some people have a pay card. Some people talk about problems with the pay card.
Right.
What experiences you guys as shop stewards have experienced with the pay card?
So the pay card thing to me is, they can say it's all more convenient, whatever the case may be. You should be able to get your paycheck in your bank account, not on no card that's controlled by them.
Yep.
I mean, it's like you work for them. They didn't want to control your pay.
How they pay you too.
I mean, I always I got a bank account. I want my money in my bank. I don't want no card.
Right.
And then you take the card to a Mac machine, they charge you. I mean, it's
So, let me get this right. You've heard the same thing I've heard. That there are fees associated with taking out your paycheck money from UPS.
right.
How did UPS, if UPS is supposed to give you $200 for the week, and technically you got to pay $2 or whatever it is to get that $200, you're paying to get your own money back.
Right.
If the Teamsters have to do anything, they need to negotiate that UPS has got to pay that amount. Because you're not getting the full wages.
Right.
And you know who the fee is paid to? The company gets it back. So here's the thing. They need to do it. If you want to give people that card, there should be no fees assessed to that card at all. It shouldn't be. I mean, but let's give people. Let's let people put their money in their own bank
Right.
accounts.
I agree.
That's it.
Right.
Let them put it in their own bank accounts or their own credit unions, whatever the case may be. That card is not good.
No, it's
And
not.
it's like, as soon as you come in, oh, we want to put you in a 401k, so you want to control that. Now we're going to give you this card. So I mean, that's something that we really, really, really need to be mindful of.
Yeah, I agree. I haven't had any member come to me and complain about it yet. Nothing major. Just, I didn't get my card. How do I get paid? Those type of questions, but nothing like, I'm having a problem getting my money or anything like that. It's just been, they get their money and there's no issue. I haven't heard anything about it.
I only heard one time.
Yeah,
I had a problem with it.
Yeah, I haven't heard. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, so now we got to get back to this strike. Now it's been a week since we last talked. Do y'all feel any stronger? If we going on strike, we're not going on strike. What do you guys think?
Here's my take on it. I'm gonna tell y'all something. I think that contract is already done.
That's what everybody's saying on here.
And the reason why I think it's already done is because they were so vague about the strike. They were so vague about sending out information. And right now, we go to our hall last month, we have no information about what's going on. And how is it that our union officials won't put out what's going on because they're afraid of what's going to be put online? But the company is already advertising low-cost driver jobs. They're already advertising that they're going to be working on Sundays. So if they're already advertising stuff that hasn't been negotiated yet, then to me, that contract is already done. And I have no confidence in our officials that they're fighting for us. I have no confidence in our protest and silence leaders, because even at the last meeting, I think Shanahan was protesting in silence because he ain't tell us nothing. The only thing I heard was I would not undermine IBT.
Yeah, and Class, that bothers me, man. That whole thing of how the convention went down, the whole protest in silence, and this whole thing, the whole healthcare thing, that was a problem. How they did that, the whole thing about the contract, how they lied to us. But to sit there, man, and not even want to fight for the members, man, that to me that says a lot about you are as a character, your character. Because when you don't want to get up and fight for people, and you getting paid to do it, that's the problem. Because it's like Romeo said, that's corruption. Because you're not doing what you said you was going to do.
They fight very well when you get discharged. I'll say they give effort when it's discharged because there's nothing to lose.
Yeah.
UPS wants you out the door. They got nothing to lose by fighting as hard as they can.
Yeah. So, I hope you guys are really paying attention to what we're trying to do here. We're trying to educate everybody, empower everybody, and everybody know that we're serious about what's going on. We're not. Hey, boy, you sick. We're not really concerned about anything national right now. We're concerned about what is going on. We'll let that die down, and we'll let that play out how it's going to play out. But for the members here, that's our main concern, because there's a lot of stuff that's going on here at our local. We don't know what's going on with the contract. Grievances don't get heard. You settle for less. Like my man Espa always say, the membership does not have any confidence. Like our brother Keyshawn said at the meeting, there's no confidence in leadership, and that's why people feel the way they feel. You know what I mean? When you don't have confidence in your leader, and you're paying them too, that's a bad combination, man.
6 figures.
Right, that's a bad combination.
If to put that in perspective, look at it this way. All you football fans out there, if the team loses confidence in their quarterback, that team is not going to win.
No, they're not.
Because if that quarterback can't lead his team, then that's it. That you might as well go ahead and break it up.
Right.
And as far as the protesting and silence, I'm gonna tell y'all something. I tell you, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I've never flown on a plane before in my life, and I always said to myself, I ain't never flying. But when our leaders didn't stand up to go to Vegas, and we were elected to go, say, you know what? I'm gonna face my fears because my members need me. They voted me in, and I'm gonna do whatever I have to do and do what's best for them. There's no such thing as protesting in silence when you got 3,000 members who you're supposed to be leading.
Yeah, you can't do that. You can't do that.
So in the UPS Rising update, they mentioned that they reached tentative agreements in Article 7, grievance machinery, which everybody should be everybody should be about.
Article 7?
Article 7, grievance machinery.
Yeah, okay.
Without any specific updates to what that tentative agreement is.
But just like...
So we can go help support their agreement.
Right.
Because they're going to tell us what they want us to know.
But just like you... I don't know if y'all remember at the meeting before this last one, I asked Shanahan about the... because they came to a tentative agreement on the supervisor working article. And I asked him, I said, okay, well, what is it? I mean, what's the agreement? Oh, he said, well, it's going to be more penalties. Well, how much? What's going to happen? The same thing with this whole Article 37 thing. It was strong in the beginning, and then they watered it down. So, and those two articles are very, very important here. Supervisors always work, and we always getting harassed. So, I don't understand what these guys are hiding from us, especially after coming off of what happened in 2013.
So the next one they updated was 17. Instead of saying paid for time like the article says, they say pay period. So my big question is, and I sent this to Brother Shanahan, and I'm still waiting for a response, whether they're going to change how you get paid. Bi-weekly, weekly, whether there's going to be a quicker correction time or turnaround on any payroll shortages.
We don't know.
An automatic bonus right to the door. What is going on?
So the biggest thing, I mean, as a store, one of the biggest things I deal with is payroll and harassment.
Yeah.
So if you're telling me that you came up with an agreement, a tentative agreement,
We need to know.
that means that you agree and they agree. So why don't we, well, at least let us know what it is.
Right, just let us know what's happening. That's all.
Don't just come and tell us we agreed on it, and then when it's time to vote, here's the contract. Let's vote. We're going to have a contract meeting. We're going to tell you what we want you to know, and that's not fair. We need to know everything.
Right.
The sooner we know, the more we can study it and read it for ourselves.
Right. But they don't want us to know. I remember I said something before that the Teamsters want you to be as dumb as possible. They don't want you to know too much. They want you to be uneducated. And so when stuff like this happen, 2013 happens when you don't know. And that's what they want. They want you to be as dumb as possible.
So when they sell you short, you don't know you got sold short.
And there you go. I'm telling you, man, I see it. They don't want you to know anything, man. They don't want you to know. But you're paying them, though.
You pay them. So another big one, the work week.
Right.
As Clarence brought up, and down Oregon Avenue, they tried to change our work week to 4 and 4 nines. Totally a messed up situation because they're not supposed to do that. They're not supposed to change the terms and conditions without the approval of the membership because it's supposed to be done in the same manner.
Right.
Same manner. I showed Hooker when it happened.
Yep.
Showed Clarence when it happened. Showed Jumbo when it's happened. We all went to the Union Hall. And
I'm
going
going to cut you off, but why would they open up the contract up like that for them, right, for the company, but not do the same thing for the stuff that we want? It should go both ways. If they're going to open up for that, okay, let's open it up for something else that'll benefit the members.
Well, they could always go and say, listen, we want to give you 60 days notice. We're gonna make some changes.
Right.
We're going to let everybody know we're going to make some changes because some issues came up and the contract needs some changing, such as like minimum wage laws or that 1035 that
Right.
came up. Hey, listen, we need to get the dollar differential back that was in existence before this 1035 bump because I haven't heard anybody on the preload starting at 11.35 an hour. Have you guys?
No.
So here we go with Article 18, Work Day, Work Week. What does that mean?
You said 18?
18. That's the health and safety article.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So how they put that in there like that?
I don't know. That's what I want to know.
Here's my question: how do you sneak a work week into a
safety
article?
Well,
So is that you trying to sneak something in behind us? Like,
I would
don't
say
get
that the
one.
work day and a work week relates mainly because of the DOT situation that we have. There's a certain amount of hours the guys can work. There's so many hours they can work in a work week.
And here's the thing:
And some guys
is
have issues working more than 12 hours a day. They don't.
Right.
It's funny you said that because all you drivers out there can attest to this, especially at PHL. Last peak season, UPS broke every DOT regulation there was. They worked past 60. And here's the kicker now. And they were like, if you came in and you was at like 57 hours and we went out on the street, they were told by our leader that if we get past 60, what we supposed to do? He said, I would prefer you finish your route and get paid later. So they would work them at 60 hours and then put the rest of the hours that they work on next week's pay.
So would that be them trying to hide DOT violations?
Hold on, S5. You said that I didn't know that part.
This not this the peak season before last when it was before they started
2016.
Before they started the 70 and 8.
Right.
They would work this at 60, and then try to put the other hours
on next week's check.
So this way it doesn't look like they're working past 60 hours.
Good Lord of mercy.
Now then this past peak season, that's when they brought up the 70, and then it's only 7 days in a week. So where they get 8 days in a week from? Where it's 70 hours in 8 days? Like so. They basically want to just own you during November, December.
They want to own us, yeah.
So we have a member here saying 100 hours plus a week. We had people down at Oregon Avenue saying they were getting close to 80 hours in a week. That's a lot of hours.
Yeah.
Now,
we did that. We did it, a couple of times.
My big problem is that UPS takes part-timers off the street, tells them that they're part-time, but is technically hiring them for a full-time shift the whole entire peak season. and not paying them the full-time wages accordingly. Just like if they took a utility driver and brought him in November and December, they're paying him the $18.75 an hour. That's what they're starting them off at. But they're not doing that for part-timers. They're exploiting them by paying them less. Even though the full-time shifts need more people, they're going to say, oh, yes, we only hired them under being part-time, not full-time. And they're going to work them full-time and give them preference to the start times, give them longer hours, such as his brother Pat Stacker said on Facebook.
Right.
Now, the problem with UPS, their biggest problem, they don't take care, like Rich was saying about take care of home first. They don't take care of home first. They treat their new hires better than they treat the people who's been there for years. Because the way they figure is, people that have been there for years, they have time invested. So they don't have to please them no more. They want to please the people who just come in so they can keep them. So there are too many opportunities for full-time jobs. And the one thing I haven't heard about negotiations is full-time jobs. I've heard all these tentative agreements for this and for that.
Yeah,
but not one person has said we have a tentative agreement about full-time jobs.
Yeah, any economics we haven't heard anything about. As far as jobs, healthcare, wages, progressions, how many jobs it's going to be, anything. And it's only about a month left. I think last time we voted in May, I believe it was. In 2013 was in May. And here it is, June, getting ready to be June, and we haven't even, they just now talking about economics. All these tentative agreements, and we don't know anything. That's the issue. That's the issue, man. So I know Eric, he was talking about the contract is pretty much done. Jumbo, we all kind of feel the same way. They're just going to try to ram it down our throat. But whatever they do, we have to stand together and vote it down if it's bad for us. We know they like to sell us out, so we got to be prepared. We can complain, we can come on the radio, we can go on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, but unless we put it on paper, it doesn't mean anything. So when you get that paper, make sure you read it. Make sure you read the contract. Make sure you come to the contract meeting. Make sure you ask questions. And then make a solid, I'm about to say guess, because we just don't know what's going on, But you want to make a solid decision on what's happening. So, we about to go in a few minutes. I'm going to give it to these guys, see do they got any say anything before we roll out.
One thing I want to say about the contract, the last one. I don't know if you guys remember. Like Rich said, we voted on, what was it? When did we vote on it?
In May.
In May.
Yeah.
That last contract, Amazon gave UPS an ultimatum. Have the contract, have an agreement by a certain date, or they was rolling. And somehow, some miracle, that within a couple weeks, we had a tentative agreement that was shot down twice by this local, then pushed down our throats. So if they can come up with, and we think about it, that contract was concession filled. I know Shanahan don't agree. I know he always say he don't agree with me, but it was concession filled.
Yeah, it was.
So who's to say that, like I said, they don't have the contract already signed now? And I said, I just have no trust or no. I just don't trust these guys.
We don't trust the process.
And I'll be honest, I'm afraid. I'm afraid of what we're going to lose next.
Yeah.
I think it's an important reminder that everybody goes out here who's watching. If you know someone's at UPS, all the people here watching on Facebook Live, that you go out there, make sure you tell all the new hires to vote, see if they got their ballot, tell them the number to dial, 215-289-0580. Get the first person you reach, Patricia at the office, whoever it is, tell them, listen, I didn't get my ballot. Document it down. Get a phone number, a text message, something so it can document it, because if there's an issue with this vote later, we need to have a record.
Right.
Records are the key. Paper trail, paper trail, paper trail. It's the only way you can disprove that there was some shenanigans going on.
Yeah. All right, good people. Thanks again for watching. You're listening to South Philadelphia Community Radio, WOOM 92.9. We thank you guys for watching on Facebook Live and listening to us on the radio station. We'll be coming every week, every Wednesday We hope you guys continue. We appreciate all the well wishes and the messages that you guys send us, and all the thank yous and everything. We appreciate that. We're going to keep doing it. And again, for all those people that are listening, if you have your national agreement, it doesn't, not just supplement, but the national, it affects everybody. Turn to page 93 and 94. It'll tell you how they could take your raise that's already split and put it into the pension. Those things that we were not told, and so you need to pay attention to the contract. Also, we will get strike pay and strike benefits. So we want to make sure that you understand that. You don't have to ask nobody. You hear it here. Your strike pay will be 5 times your weekly dues rate. So whatever you pay per week in dues, times that by 5, and that'll be how much you would get paid per week. You will have benefits also. So make sure you know that. Again, read the contract. It's your contract. It's what you live by. It's how your family is provided for. Don't let nobody shortchange you, especially when you're paying them a lot of money to do that. So, again, this is 92.9 South Philadelphia Radio, WOOM, coming to you with 623 Live Radio. My brothers Clarence Bagby, Joe Esposito. We out of here. We love you. God bless you. See you next week.